So Lexus has been very clever with their GX550 marketing. People are allowed to test drive the GX550 before it's even available. The catch is you're only allowed to drive the GX550 off-road like you see here. So that's very clever. Now you might be asking, why isn't Lexus letting anybody on-road with these new Lexus GX550s? And the answer is simple. They want to hammer home what this vehicle is, which is an off-road vehicle. So they're doing a very good job right out of the bat here, going, you're gonna look at countless videos of these GX550s, but you're gonna look at them off-road. You're gonna see these things off-road before we allow you, aka before we allowed automotive journalists and test drivers to take these things on-road. And they're doing this, as you might have guessed, just to remind people, to wake people up as to what these GXs have always been, which are in the past Land Cruiser Prados, and in this current generation of Lexus GX550, this is on a full Land Cruiser platform. It's on the full TNGAF long wheelbase Land Cruiser platform. So they have this thing rolling around in mud here. Now I know mud doesn't look exciting or anything, but this thing is just sailing through mud. Mud is one of the most difficult terrains to roll around in, and these GX550s are making it look effortless. Make no mistake, nobody likes mud, nobody likes soft sand. It's slippery, it's horrible, but it's making this look like a nothing type of course. But I can assure you, and anybody off-roads know, that this is a mess. This is when your tires spin and the vehicle wants to dig in and not move and lose forward momentum, and this thing is just handling it, no problem. Check out all the mud all over these GXs. You got mud everywhere. They're telling you, this is what these vehicles are for. They're not supposed to stay in the garage. They're supposed to get dirty. They're supposed to take you places that you've never been before, and you're supposed to enjoy the journey there as well. So here we go. It's on. They won't even let it on the road. Look at this. Just sailing along in the mud, just having a good time. Now here we're going to see one of the best examples of A-Track. If you blink, you're going to miss this. This is the GX550, and this driver is doing this 100% proper here. You're going to see this thing sail through here. So we're going to not only see the articulation here, but the driver is using A-Track here. This is not a rear locker. You can tell this because when this wheel goes down, you can kind of see it stuttering, the brakes locking it up. But it's so seamless, and this GX is just sailing over these huge ruts here, or moguls, whatever you want to call them. The point is, this thing is articulating like crazy, and it's completely losing this driver's side rear off the ground there, and the vehicle's just sailing forward. And I just can't emphasize how beautiful this is. The GX just moves forward. There's no momentum loss. The thing is just going. And this is what happens when the driver just commands the vehicle to go forward. If you don't take your foot off the gas pedal, the GX will not stop. It will just go over all of this seamlessly. This is A-Track in action. It's on both front and rear. And it essentially is a locker simulator, but mathematically it's superior to a locker because it can send up to 50% of the power on one individual axle to one wheel. Whereas a locker can only do 25% on one wheel. Yes, that's been mathematically proven, outlined, and showcased by actual Toyota engineers and repeated ad nauseum, though the message 24 years after the introduction of A-Track is just slowly sinking in the minds of most consumers. But you're looking at it right here. This is not a locker, this is A-Track. And the amazing EKDSS system absolutely just floating across this mess of terrain. Less controversial and triggering than A-Track is the EKDSS system, which you're going to get on this GX550, which is what you just saw, and that's increased articulation. You can see here the car on the top. This is the Toyota Land Cruiser, and it's the GR Sport Land Cruiser in the world market. So the quote real Land Cruiser, not the four-cylinder Land Cruiser that's coming to America. This is the real Land Cruiser, the Land Cruiser 300 GR Sport. Anyway, it's got EKDSS, and you can see this back passenger articulation is able to maintain contact with this red ramp, while the previous Land Cruiser 300, or excuse me, 200 down here, as it starts to flex, as the rear starts to gain articulation here, it gets in the air and it loses traction, and it doesn't make it up the ramp. Now, just so you know, this car down here, older Land Cruiser 200, turned off A-track or track. They turned off traction control to make it look dramatic. If they had not done that, either track, if they were in 4 high, or A-track and 4 low, would lock this wheel up, and it still would have went up the ramp. So keep that in mind, that even if you do get a wheel off the ground or you lose traction like this white Land Cruiser down here, it would still get up. They turned off traction control to make it dramatic. But Toyota knows, and they've outlined over and over, that there's no need for track, A-track, or lockers, all of which are traction aids, if you have articulation. So the vehicle above here, the Land Cruiser 300 GR Sport, which your Lexus GX550 is based upon, it does not lose traction due to the EKDSS. Increased rear articulation means the wheel keeps contact and it's able to go. It doesn't need any sort of A-track, locker, track, anything. It just maintains contact with the road and it goes. Amazing system. All right, let's go back to A-track here, and we can see an example here of the GX550 using A-track to go downhill. So I'm going to sing A-track's praises here in this footage here, and you're going to see very clearly that this person is going downhill and A-track is doing its thing. This is this weird action that you see here. And this is what freaks people out and gives people who don't know any better, or are ignorant, for lack of a better way to describe it, about how A-track works. They think the system is stuttering and it's figuring it out and all this nonsense. Don't focus on what this wheel here is doing, the driver's front, that has lost traction. Instead, focus on the GX itself. The driver is telling it to go down this obstacle, and that's exactly what it's doing. Look at the vehicle itself. There's no stuttering in the vehicle. Don't let the wheel fool you, or the sound of the A-track or ABS actuators, which, by the way, have been quieted down substantially on this new GX550. The driver's telling it where to go, and it's doing it on 3 wheels. Okay, that's what you're watching here. A 3-wheel downhill. Okay, if this was an open differential, it would be, all power would be lost. But he's sailing down with a big old smile on his face because he's happy. Look at him in here. It's doing what he wants, and it's doing it seamlessly. Additionally, and this is where we're going to, again, I'm going to highlight the math here, and Toyota said this. I'm going to pause it here in a second, and you'll see that when this wheel gets airborne, this front driver starts getting twitchy. Okay, so now this wheel here is in the air, and you got this A-track action going. Up to 50% can be sent to the passenger front tire or wheel. So his passenger front can get up to 50%, while this wheel in the air is worthless and is being locked up and twitching around with A-track. A locker can't do that. And I hear it over and over, people in the comments go, nah, that's not how a locker works. That's most certainly how a locker works. If this vehicle was locked, and it does have a rear locker, and yes, I know the GR Sport Corolla, or excuse me, Land Cruiser does come with the option of a front locker too, and it's all for marketing purposes. Anyway, the point is, if this was locked, only 25% would be going to his passenger front in this situation. He can get up to 50%. Now, is it 50%, a clean 50%? Who knows? The point is, mathematically, more power can go to the wheel that actually is on the ground and getting traction. A locker cannot do that. But don't take my word for it. Toyota engineers have said this over and over and over again, and you're seeing it, which is why you get this effortless display of sailing down this obstacle on 3 wheels. Furthermore, it does it in such an effortless fashion, it makes it look easy. I mean, that was a little bit of rambling there. What I'm saying is, A-Track makes this stuff look easy because you're getting, what do we got? 25 compared to a locker, you're getting up to 25% more power in these wheel off the ground situations. Period.